What's going on, Bills Mafia? We got another show for you tonight. Great one on store or on deck for you. Big game coming up tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Another game day for you coming up. So it's going to be a good one. Off the Edge starts right now. Let's go. What is going on, Bills Mafia, Built in Buffalo fam? Welcome and thank you for tuning in. We got a great show for you guys on deck today. Did have to push it back an hour, unfortunately. You're usually at 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock today, so I appreciate you guys being great with the time and everything. But unfortunately, I did have to go to, well, actually not unfortunately, fortunately, I had to go to a little play downtown. If you've been to the Alleyway Theater, they got a great show going on. I do have my cousin and my cousin-in-law. They are in the Christmas Carol. So it's a great one there if you want to go check it out. I believe they still got a couple more weeks of it, so go check it out if you are looking for something Christmas wise. But that's why we're starting at 8 today. But we got a great show for you guys tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Obviously, again, Akeem's not here this week, but we do have Izzy. Izzy, how you doing? I hope everybody here knows who he is by now. They should. If you tune into Built in Buffalo, you probably do. But Izzy, how you doing? Thank you for hopping on. And we got another game coming up.
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me. A little bit under the weather, but I'll be all right. I have a little cough going. My son was sick. So other than that, doing pretty good. Happy to be here. Glad to, be able to be a backup to the backup on this one and jump right in and do the show with you, man. It's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah, I know you. I know you were on the show. I believe it was about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But you were on the show a little bit ago. It was a great one. It was a real fun one. So I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of fun again tonight. I can already see you got some questions coming in from the audience. We will get to them later. Trust me, if you do put them in there, I'll have them saved and everything, and we'll get to them a little bit later. But yeah, we got some people that I see every week or mostly every week in here. So we got Craig here. Here we go. We got everybody coming in. Roy's just hopped in here. So we got everybody coming in. It's gonna be a good one. It was a bye week last week, so no game to talk about last week, but we got a game coming up tomorrow. So yeah, gonna be a good one. Let's just hop right into it then. So obviously we had the bye week this past week. The bye week was not exactly a week off for a lot of Bills fans, Bills players, just Bills Mafia in general. We thought it was going to be, nice week off from football, recoup, watch some good games, but it really wasn't. We had, some off the field issues with Von Miller, Shawn McDermott, just a bunch of different things happening. So it really wasn't as laid back as I think we had thought. So just to start it off, what were your thoughts on a bye week? And do you think all of this happening with Von, with Shawn McDermott, and with just the controversy around this team, do you think it will bring them closer together?
I think it could. Something like that could galvanize a team. The McDermott thing happened 4 years ago, and players who were here, made their complaints to whatever reporter, Dunn or whatever, and there are players who are still here who were on that team, and guys like Micah Hyde. This wasn't a big deal. So it's something that could definitely galvanize them. I think it will more than anything because everybody already knew about it. And from what I've heard and seen on some other shows like Joe Marino's Locked On Bills, he said that it's kind of been an office joke for the last few years. And so I don't like the fact that it was said, but it doesn't bother me so much. And I hate to be one of those guys who says that because of the group I belong to, I have more of an opinion on it than anybody else because I don't. I was 16 when 9/11 happened in high school, and it was not good. I was in Rochester where I grew up. I got on a bus to what was then Womoko, which was a vocational school. They said, "Yep, get back on the bus, go home. You're going back to your home school, and then you're going home." And they shut down schools for the day. And I don't remember the rest of that week because it was so crazy. That next year, I joined the Army. I shipped off. So yeah. I may be a Bills fan when it comes to football, but I'm a Patriot at heart. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the biggest thing, especially with the Shawn McDermott comments and just the thing that came out about Shawn McDermott, is your first reaction for many people is like just kind of in awe that something like that would have been said. However, I do want to just say, I think as bad as it was said, I don't think McDermott, and I think McDermott kind of implied that he didn't mean anything ill, and he didn't mean any ill will on it. He didn't mean anything. I don't think the way he said it didn't come out the way that I think he wanted it to. And again, I don't even know what he was really fully trying to say with it. I mean, we know that he was trying to talk about communication and all that, but it just came across to me as one of those things where McDermott tried to make a really, really good kind of analogy, and it just really was, or it might have been the worst one I've ever heard in my life. But
I mean, I'm sure worse could be said, but
yeah,
that's not good at all.
No, not good at all. But I just think, especially hearing him talk about it, I think it's something that he definitely regrets. You could see it in the press conference and hear it just from him talking. Like, he definitely regretted saying it, and you could tell that it was affecting that now that it came out. I mean, we know that now we know that it was handled at least by the Bills 4 years ago. Don't know how they handled it, if they ended up punishing him at all. But either way, it was addressed by the team. It was addressed by the players, by everybody in the organization. So for it to come out now, and again, I thought it was a great article, as in you're bringing light to some stuff and you're bringing it. But my only issue with the article was it did kind of seem like they were kind of taking an attack on him. And again, Tyler Dunn is a great journalist. He does great things. But this specific one, it just was weird timing. And I think just for everybody, especially Bills Mafia, that's the way they saw it, was like, why now? Why right before we have the biggest game of the year, before the biggest stretch of the year? And that, I think, was kind of the big thing that rubbed Bills Mafia the wrong way. I don't know if you kind of also saw it that way, where it's like, why now? You could have waited till after the season. You could have done it earlier in the season. I don't know really when he started. I heard that he started it week 1. I heard he started it 2 weeks ago. I heard he started it last year. I've heard a million different ways of him starting it, why he started it, everything like that. Yeah. So I just think at the end of the day, yes, it was bad, but I said it even to all the Built in Buffalo guys, right? I said, we've heard coaches say worse. We've heard coaches and even players all come out and do and say worse. Yes, it was bad, but it was 4 years ago. They've handled it. I don't know why it was brought up now. I don't know. What do you think on that aspect of it just coming out now compared to, say, even 2020 or 2021, or even just after the season this year?
It felt like a hit piece to me. Like it did, and I'm not familiar with Tyler Dunn. I'm not familiar with him at all. So I've heard from other people he's a good reporter. I've also heard that this wasn't his first shot at McDermott, and the timing of this is really, really poor. Not on Tyler's part per se, but it kind of is on his part, because there are other things to be talking about right now. They're like the performance of the team is enough to stir the pot. Why? It seems unnecessary to me. Again, like I said, I went to war immediately after the 9/11 thing. As somebody who did, I'm not so offended by it, especially almost 20 years after the events that took place. Granted, they were in very, very, very poor taste. He's you gotta think better than that. That's where I'm at with it. You got to use your brain on that one, and he had a lapse in judgment, and so that's it. I accept his apology for it. As a fan, and I'm only one fan, so I don't get more apologies than anybody else because I served. It's not how that works. Yeah. The court of public opinion is what it is, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think John right here sums up pretty well. I mean, yeah, he apologized for it. He owned it. He didn't try to work his way around it. He said, yeah, I said it. I shouldn't have said it. I apologized to the team right after. And yeah, he's human, right? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody says things. I can guarantee at least 95% of the people, including myself listening right now, have said and done things that we regret. And it happens. So I do think it will end up bringing the team together. I think you're already seeing it bringing them together a little bit. It's kind of that Buffalo versus everybody mentality kind of back again, because you've seen the Allen hate this year. Now you see this kind of piece on McDermott come out. It's kind of like, well, why is everybody doing this? What's going on here? Everybody's hating on the Bills. I think it will end up bringing them together. I think you've already seen it with even just interviews, right? You've seen Micah Hyde interview. I believe Jordan Phillips also interviewed. A couple other players I think also commented on it. Brandon Bean, I know, commented on it as well. So yeah, it's something that it was nothing new to the players or the coaches in that building. Maybe a few of them that maybe weren't around then, but to most players and coaches in that building, they know who Shawn McDermott is. So at this point, I think it's good that it passed through. It's good that it came to light. I think for Shawn, I think that at the end of the day, it will help him grow as a coach down the road for it coming out. Because if it stayed in the whole time, I think it could have kind of built up on him and kind of just been something that he's always looking over his shoulder about. But at the end of the day, that happens. Like, things happen. People say things they regret, do things they regret. And even just to the rest of the article, yes, it was great. I read it. I thought it was a great one. But again, you can find in the NFL, you can find tons of players, coaches that will have issues with other players and coaches. It's just, even in non-NFL, non-sports, you'll see that in just workplace in general. That happens. Not everybody's going to get along. So I think that's enough by talk for now. Maybe we'll get brought up again later. I think all of us are kind of sick of hearing about it, sick of talking about it. We're ready just for some football, which we are less than 24 hours away from kickoff. So it's almost here. Hopefully they can do a little bit better than the Sabres have been recently. The Sabres are right now 0-0, if anybody is wondering. But let's dive into some football. Got the Chiefs, a familiar foe. Right, this is a team that, and we actually got a Chiefs fan in here. I don't know. Thanks for joining in. But we do have a Chiefs fan in here, just screaming Chiefs at us. So yeah,
hey, man, scream, do your thing, man.
Yes, we're ready. We're ready. You're ready. I know that this is a game that both sides are kind of not knowing what to expect. Both teams have kind of had their ups and downs this season so far, but I think it's gonna be a great game. So, just Izzy, what are your initial thoughts on the matchup? How do you think they match up, and just your overall thoughts on going into this game?
Well, before that, had some football today. Go Army beat Navy. Let's go. And then to tomorrow's game, my thoughts on the matchup are the Chiefs are now as banged up as we are, right? Their receivers aren't great, but Mahomes is doing the most with those guys that he can from the seams. It seems like somebody like Rashee Rice is actually coming on at a good time for the Chiefs. And so I like him as a future receiver for them. And awesome. But, the Chiefs just don't feel like the Chiefs anymore. They just don't feel like that. Kelsey, he's not having the best year, but he also doesn't have a lot of help from his other weapons. Pacheco's out. So this is going to be a grueling game. Apparently, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be their starting at running back. So, we're going to see what happens, but they're as banged up as we are. As we are banged up on defense, they are on offense. We don't have Milano. We don't have Daquan Jones, and we don't have Tre'Davious White. Well, they don't have Isaiah Pacheco, which is a big part of their offense.
Or their starting left tackle, I believe, too.
Yeah, he's out too.
That's not Taylor. Taylor's right tackle. Left tackle is Donovan Smith. Yes, Donovan Smith. He is going to be out. Look, we talked about it a little bit before the show. I think this is the first year where Chiefs fans are kind of seeing how what Allen had to deal with his first 2 seasons in the league, right? We talked about it before the show with, Kelvin Benjamin was Josh Allen's number 1 receiver. That's not good. Like, that is horrible. And I think now you're seeing the Chiefs and Chiefs fans realize, yeah, Mahomes is phenomenal, right? He's unbelievable, otherworldly quarterback, but you still need talent around the guy. You can't just have Travis Kelce and that's it. You can't just have Isaiah Pacheco and Travis Kelce. Like, you have to have more of that. You have to have a receiver that's reliable to go to other than your number 1. And that was one thing that Bills fans have been saying for years. You're saying, oh, yeah, we have Diggs, but you need other weapons outside of that. where now the Chiefs are saying the same thing. You are seeing other guys step up. Sky Moore has been up and down. Justin Watson, Rashee Rice is kind of coming on recently. Justin Ross had was doing all right before his suspension and everything. But I mean, we've seen Marquez Valdes-Scantling have some rough games. We've seen Kadarius Toney have some rough games. It's been rough for a lot of these weapons here for the Chiefs, and just seeing, it's just seeing how this is unfolded for the Chiefs. I think it's kind of a little bit shocking. I still think they have confidence in their team. Don't get me wrong. I think it's kind of how the Bills are. Like, we have confidence in Josh Allen. They have confidence in Patrick Mahomes to the point where, and they should. They rightfully so. But Patrick Mahomes, to me, is still the best quarterback in the league. I know a lot of people will argue it could be Allen, it could be Hurts, it could be whoever. But to me, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. And when you have a top 3, top 5 quarterback, you should go into every game thinking you can win, no matter who else is on your team. So I think when it comes to how they match up, though, that's what I want to dive into a little bit more. When I talk about how they match up, honestly, I think that's a little bit better for the Chiefs. I think they match up a little bit better, more so because of the fact that their defense has kept them in a lot of games this year. They've won close games this year, where the Bills have struggled in close games this year. And the defense has let the Bills down on a couple of occasions. So for me, I'm a little less confident in the Bills offense against the Chiefs defense than I am for the Chiefs offense against the Bills defense, just because I think the Bills defense might struggle in certain areas, even with the injuries. We've seen them struggle, especially in the second half, which has been a huge issue for the Buffalo Bills. So what do you think when it comes to how they match up together?
I actually think it favors the Bills, in my opinion there. And it's not by much.
Yeah.
I think that the Chiefs receivers don't match up well against our corners. I think our linebackers are playing very well. And with Isaiah Pacheco out, that's going to be something that leans the Bills' way. The Bills' defensive line, third in sacks, even after the bye. We were second in sacks before the bye, and after the bye, we're still second. So that's another thing. Is that left tackle going to be able to keep AJ Epinesa and whoever else mans that right side for our defense, the right side, their offense, their left side. So looking the other way, are they going to be able to hold off that pass rush? Because AJ Epinesa's got 6.5, 7 sacks already this year, and he's a backup. He's not a primary starter. There's that. Then if you flip to the offense, the Bills' offensive line is much improved from last year, but the Chiefs still have Chris Jones, who's a freaking manimal, and that right there. He's going to be most of the time on Osiris Torrance's side. So Mitch Morse is going to have to help him a little bit. Their edge rushers, Karlaftis is having a nice year. Very nice year for him. Nick Bolton, as Jefe KC mentioned in the comments, he's playing this game. I don't know if he's going to have a club on that hand or if it's going to be okay. I know that he's had an issue. He's coming back. Good for him. I hope he's healthy. I wish no injuries upon anybody, nothing permanent. But then if you look at the Bills receivers, Gabe Davis has cooked them regularly. Like, that's been his thing, is cooking the Chiefs. This will be his 6th good game of the year, so this might be the last. But it's what he does. He balls out against Kansas City. And Diggs is usually quiet. But the X factor for us, I think, is going to be Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir, the last 4 games, is the leading receiver on his team. He's got no touchdowns. Get my man in the end zone. Get him in the end zone.
Did he not? How long ago was his 60 or 70 yard touchdown? Was that 4 or 5 games? It might have been 4 or 5 games ago.
I think that was way earlier in the season. That was like the Commanders of the Raiders game, something like that. Maybe the Dolphins game. It was early.
Yeah.
But in the last 4 games, no touchdowns. But he's getting us in scoring position. And so Khalil Shakir to me is going to be a guy. And I saw a comment mentioned him before. And Chris Jones is sort of pissed. He should be pissed. They just lost. If you're not pissed after a loss, I don't know what the hell's going to piss you off. The Bills are sort of pissed. We just lost to the Eagles. We should have won that game before the half.
Yeah.
We had it won before the half, and we Denny Greened it. We let them off the hook. Right? They are who we thought they are. They are the NFC champions from last year. They potentially are the NFC champions this year, unless the 49ers have something to say about it, which it looks like they do. But still, like this game right here, the Bills, I believe, need it more than the Chiefs do. But the Chiefs' season and the postseason is really going to be hinging on this game as well. So we're not going in there to play a team that's just going to roll over for us. Absolutely not. We got to go out there and we got to take it to them for all 60 minutes. You know, refs be damned, but the Bills need to go out there and put in their work and be done with it. But I have not lost hope in this team. Last 4 years, if this year is included, 2020, 6 wins to end the season. 2021, 4 wins to end the season. Last year, 7 wins to end the season. What's 5? It's the average basically of all that, right? 5.5 is the average. Give me my Bills, baby. Let's go.
I do also want to bring up we were talking about Gabe Davis and how he's had phenomenal games against the Bills, and
Chiefs.
I want to bring up how the Chiefs, while they have some solid corners.
Yeah.
Well, Jarius Sneed also does lead the league in penalties against him. So that is something to keep on your mind if you watch this game. And the most penalized cornerback in the league, that's something that I think the Bills need to try to get the right matchups on him, get Diggs on him, right? Get even Kincaid, get guys that are phenomenal route runners that are going to force Sneed to make some plays. Because Sneed, don't get me wrong, he's a very solid cornerback in the league. This is probably his most down year since he's got to Kansas City.
Yeah.
But that's an issue. That's been an issue for the Bills penalties, and that's also been an issue for KC, at least when it comes to penalties. I know a lot of people say that the refs are always on the Chiefs side, and I'll give this the benefit of the doubt for Chiefs fans. And I think Hefe KC, if you could even comment on this, I believe they're third in the league in total penalties. So they've been another team that has struggled with penalties. At least this was 2 weeks ago when they said on the broadcast, at least, that they were second in the league or third in the league. So that might have changed now. But they've struggled with penalties at times this year. And I think that's going to be a huge impact on this game is how the Bills and the Chiefs, if whoever can stay cleanest, that. So I'm guessing you're laughing at some of the comments right now. But yeah, so either way though, I do think that that's a great. The refs are ready to play. They will be ready to play. We'll just have to see which side the refs are gonna be on. I expect this to be another really rough game.
I'm taking a lap
about it probably every week on this show. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Too many. Even another. It's not even just Bills fans. Bills fans. Everybody listening that's a Bills fan right now. Just take into account that the Chiefs fans, every fan possible, has been saying it this year about how the refs have been unbelievably bad. So that's one thing that I do want to say is I'm going to be interested to see. This could be a game where they like last Thursday or 2 Thursdays ago when it was Seahawks and Cowboys. It could be one of those games where they have 20 combined penalties. Or 25 combined. Like, I wouldn't be shocked because these are two teams that have had a lot of penalties called against them, and a lot of penalties, honestly, that haven't been that great against either team. So that is one thing I do want to mention. When you brought up Gabe Davis, that popped into my head was they need to take advantage of at least the cornerbacks on the KC side. Have been a little bit handsy this year. Have been a little bit grab this year with L'Jarius Sneed at least being tops in the league. So we'll see how that goes. We already talked about it a little bit while we were kind of overviewing the matchup, but I want to ask you, diving a little bit deeper into how this offense will play. What do you think the offense will have to do to win this game for the Buffalo Bills?
I think it's more on the defense, honestly. I honestly think it's more on the defense. The Bills offense has to put up 24 or more points. 24 or more points. We need the defense to step up, lock down the receivers they're supposed to lock down because their receivers aren't that good. Hone in on Kelsey and make it a dogfight for their offense. And our offense, just take your field goals, take whatever points are on the board, and get it done. You're right. You're away. You're not in Buffalo, right? The Mafia travels well, but KC travels well too, and they have an awesome home crowd. So
I saw a comment. I'm gonna bring it up. There it is. Hefe.
Welcome to Arrowhead.
Loudest stadium in the world. So you talk about how KC's been old. They have good fans too.
Technically Seattle, but the loudest stadium that's not built to be loud. We'll say that. I'll give you that. So like the second loudest stadium, but the loudest one that's not physically designed by the architects to be loud. So
yeah,
that Beastquake play had the loudest fans ever recorded in NFL history. They actually hit the Richter scale.
I want to see. I just saw this comment from Roy. I want to see what you think. Your thoughts are on this one issue other teams seem to get right against the Bills, as in just this seems to be their game where they play the best against the Bills. So what do you think about this comment? Thinking do you think that plays a factor about the Chiefs saying, oh, well, other teams have gotten it right against the Bills. Maybe we can start to get it right against the Bills. Do you think that's something even the Bills are thinking about?
I don't think so. I don't think that enters the minds of the players or the coaches. The Bills are undefeated after their bye week, but they haven't played great teams after the bye week most of the time, right? So, average to, below average teams.
When it comes to the offense, you were talking a little bit about how they need to put up 24 points. What do you think is more minimum? Yes, minimum, at least 24 points. What do you think? Is it going to be the passing game or the rushing game that is going to be not necessarily biggest, but what do you think is going to be the most important? Do you think it's going to be getting the ball out quick, getting it, out of their hands, or do you think it's going to be establishing that run game and sticking with it?
I believe running the ball is going to be more important because it's going to allow Josh Allen to run play action. He'll be able to play under center where he's been more effective this year. I think that establishing the run, especially with the improved defensive line, is going to be super important, whether it's James Cook, Latavius Murray, Ty Johnson. I don't care who's running the ball. I love James Cook, and I hope it's him, but if it's not, then I just hope whoever's out there is doing what the heck they're supposed to do. But I think establishing the run against the Chiefs and setting up the pass that way is going to be better against them. In some games, it's the opposite. In some games, you got to pass to set up the run. So that way you can get ahead and then take advantage of the run lanes. Against the Chiefs, it's the opposite. You have to use the run to set up your passing lanes. And with Dawson Knox, I saw this question way earlier in the comments, way earlier. And they asked if we'll be running 12 personnel again. I believe so. If Dawson Knox is playing in this game, we're going to see 12 personnel. It's not going to be Dorsey's 12 personnel. It's not going to be the same way we did it with him because clearly everything else has changed, right? The play calls may be similar, but the hot read might be different. The option, might be different as in what your primary option would be within that call. I think that the Bills need to put up those 24 points, and I think that the offense is going to need to run the damn ball. If it's 24-10, I'm cool with that. That means that we kept the ball out of Mahomes' hand. If you look last week, we led that game in possession, time of possession. We still lost the game. I still think time of possession is important. I think minimizing turnovers is important. And I don't want to take the ball out of Josh's hands, but I want that run game to set up his next play.
Yeah.
Even if it's him running, I'm fine with that too, right? Because all the chips are now on the table for this year. And so if we lose this game or if he gets hurt and can't play the rest of the season, so be it. It is what it is. I don't want any major catastrophic injury for him, like a knee injury or anything like that. Knock on wood. But if he goes down or if we lose, the season's probably over. My dog thinks someone's at the door now. Good girl.
I want to build off your point of the turnovers because that was one thing that a lot of people have been talking about with the Bills, the turnovers all year. Gotten better with it, significantly better with it recently. When won the turnover battle, I believe, against the Eagles, and then won the battle against, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on who we even played before the Jets as well. So yeah, it's turnovers is going to be a huge thing. I think offensively, that's where the ground game comes in. Is the ground game can help minimize those turnovers. And I know that we've had some fumbles this year, but when I say that, I just mean that it can help take pressure off of Allen. We've seen the pressure get to him, and we've seen the pressure of having to do it all get to him in certain games. So I think establishing that run will help Josh stay calm, to help Josh kind of just stay in that mode of just taking what's given or doing, just being the best he can be, I think, is when the run game is also working, which includes him as well. So yeah, I think offensively, stick with the run. Get the ball out quick. Don't let Chris Jones be the game changer. I know it's going to be hard, Don't let him be the game changer, because we've seen him do it plenty and plenty of times. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with offense. I do want to just let Becca know as well. Becca, I see your comments. Don't worry. I do have the questions saved. We'll get to questions in a little bit. Roy, I see yours as well coming in here. So we'll get to questions in a second. But offensively, I think, yes, like you said, run game, establish it, stick with it. Defensively, you even talked about it, or offensively, you even talked about it with Chris Jones a little bit. Yeah, that's to me the biggest thing, is minimizing their stars, minimizing Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, even Ladarius Sneed, who has, yes, like I said, had penalties, but he still is a very good corner. Cannot let him be the game changer. So that offensively, 24 points, run game, turnovers, keys to the offense right there. So before we get into the defense, what the defense has to do in this game, we'll take some questions. I got four of them here, or 3 of them here, because we already answered the question for the 12 personnel. So Becca, this one was from real early in the show, but I see that you've been really antsy of us answering this. So I'll pull yours up first here. Do you think the Bills will utilize all time during the game? Sorry, all time during the game, including 20 seconds. I'm just going to answer this quick before you can say your piece after this, but I'm just going to be quick with it. I think yes. I think, especially with how much heat McDermott's been under, non-football related, I think he's also seen the heat he's been under football related. So I think he saw last week people very, very upset at him, including, especially after the Bengals game, seeing the Bengals put that ball in their backup's quarterback and go down and win the game. I think, yes, I think that they will use all the time this time. Even if it's 10 seconds, I think that they'll try something. So what do you think? Do you think that the last game kind of changed things for McDermott in terms of how he handles at least last minute, last 20 seconds, last 10 seconds?
No. Now, here's why. Let's say he throws the ball, Dalton Kincaid catches it, flips upside down, the ball gets punched out, they scoop and score. Well, why were we running the play then? Why were we doing this? No matter which way you go, if we lose, he's going to get roasted either way. It's all McDermott. He decided to run the play. We could have just gone to overtime. Like, that's just the way it goes. And so, like, he is himself, and I believe if he had a true number 2 receiver, it's not a question. But he doesn't. He doesn't. He's got a rookie tight end who is really his number 2 threat. Shakir is starting to show up, but he's still not earned that spot yet. And Gabe Davis has shown that he's not reliable. I mean, he drops too many passes. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, he drops more balls in puberty. We can't have this on a team like that. You can't be doing this thing where you just hope and pray that these guys, are able to do it. And I trust Josh. Josh isn't the problem in my book. Josh is the guy who is the head and shoulders, the guy in the team I trust the most, because most of the time he puts the ball where it needs to be and somebody fails at the other end. And that's what it is. What if a lineman fails and they come through and nail Josh? The Eagles' defensive line is no freaking joke, and neither is the Chiefs. Neither is the Chiefs. And with Bolton back, he's one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, you can say he's not willing to take risks. Okay. If he takes all the risks and they fail, he still gets criticized. He still gets roasted. That's just what it is. And so if you put it in, if he puts it in, I see the comment she's coming back here, and I'm not trying to, dump on her at all. I promise. You don't take a knee with a Josh Allen. We need a head coach with balls. Well, you could say that going into overtime with no guarantee that you're going to score that touchdown and trusting your defense or your offense to stop the other team or score the touchdown is also ballsy. Balls go both ways, right? It is what it is. No matter which way you step left or you step right, they're hitting your leg. Yeah. So you have to just to me, there's
2 sides to the coin.
There's 2 sides to the coin, and he's either too conservative, like he was against the Eagles, which is a complaint, and then there's the other side where against the Broncos, he was way too aggressive, right? We go 0 blitz, we sack him, they're not in field goal range. We go 0 blitz again, and then pass interference. Yeah. Too aggressive.
Yeah.
And way too aggressive. And so there's no way, to not take the blame off his hands, because either way we lose, he still gets all the blame.
Yeah.
We have a quarterback with the most interceptions in the league. Why would you trust him with 20 seconds left? That would be half of the fan base's way to argue that. And the other half would be what we got right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you can look at it both ways, and I think both ways. I think, like you said, it depends on how the results. It depends on the result majorly. If they end up trying to do it and they don't get it, well, then it's okay, whatever. At least you tried. If you do it and you get it, everybody's happy. If you do it and you don't get it and turn it over or whatever, then people are going to be pissed. It's going to be it's there's a billion different ways you can look at it. So I do think that it will change a little bit. I think he'll be a little bit more aggressive this game than he was last game. Just that's I think the nature we've seen from McDermott is when he sees how much pissed people get, especially if it's not something that's happened multiple times, then he does change it a little bit. I'm not saying that it will be the rest of the season he'll be that way. Maybe just next game he will be. So we'll see. That's a great question. It's a very, very good question to kind of think about of if McDermott's going to change his ways a little bit.
Historically, against the Chiefs, he's aggressive. Historically, against the Chiefs, he just is. So, I don't know if that's changing his ways.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It's a good conversation to have. I think when you look at it, because a lot of people were pissed last game that they didn't put it in their hands, and I think that Bengals game made it a million times worse for Bills fans looking at it. So we'll see. Great question there. Next question we got is over or under on James Cook's rushing yards. I did just look it up. He's at 51.5. I'm smashing the over on that.
Me too.
I think the Bills will rely heavy on the run, and James Cook will be the number one running back. So
what app is that?
It's FanDuel is 51.5. Yes, FanDuel.
So I'm on Sleeper and it's 46.5. So yeah, I'm smashing the over on that.
Oh, that 46.5 is even better. Oh, I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna be smashing that now that I looked at it. So thanks for the comment, Thomas. But smash it. But again, that's not gambling advice. That is just our opinions. So if you do bet it and it loses, don't blame us. You can. I mean, you can
do not bet what you can't afford to bet, and do not, try and get your wins back, your losses back.
Yes.
If you have a certain amount that you're willing to gamble with, you have to be responsible, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do that, do that. Also, betting odds are just ways of looking at how the media and everybody else sees the potential for that player to play. So,
yeah. I mean, I would hit it, but we'll see. Yeah, don't bet $1 million on it and lose all your savings. But all right, James Cook over under. That's easy. Roy, we got a question from Roy here. How much of a judgment game do you think this is for Brady? You can go first with this one.
I think it's a big one. Chiefs defense is playing really good. They're playing lights out. The way Brady calls this game is going to be important because it's one of the better teams that's left on our schedule. It's them and the Cowboys really. Some people say the Dolphins. I don't concern myself with Miami. I just don't. We 9 out of 10, the last 10. Sorry, Dolphins fans, if you're here, not sorry. The facts are the facts. But the Chiefs and the Cowboys, those two games are going to be very indicative as to his future becoming the official offensive coordinator of this team. And if for some reason they do fire McDermott, which I highly doubt, potentially being a head coach, which some people say he's not ready for. I don't know. I mean, Shawn McVay was pretty young when he got his opportunity, and a lot of that is the energy they bring to the team. So I love Shawn McDermott. I hope he sticks around. I hope that they don't can him, but if they did, I like Joe Brady, and I always have. So
yeah, I mean, he's been off to a great start. I think when you the term judgment, I think every game, from now on, every game's gonna be a judgment game for the rest of the season. He's got to show up every game. If he has one bad game, I still think that they might still go with him, or two bad game, whatever. But as long as the offense looks like how it has been, I think that he's so far doing a great job. But yeah, every game I think will be a judgment game. I think it's a little bit more built up when it's against the Chiefs or against the Cowboys, against top-notch teams, compared to if it's the Patriots in Week 17, right? So I think how big of a judgment game that can change, but I believe that this specific game, it's a judgment game. It's probably up there for one of the bigger ones. I do also want to say, Jacob, I do see your questions about Mahomes and Allen's interceptions. We actually will be getting to that a little bit later, so just hold off on that one. I don't want to think I'm just skipping over your questions. But I did want to bring this before we get back into another topic. Right there. I was going to actually bring this up. Is this comment from him? If the Bills win, I might jump on a table on my YouTube channel. Do you like that? Izzy, what are your thoughts on that?
I do like that, but do it with caution, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you have people around so you're not just laying on the floor if you get hurt, okay?
Yeah.
So take all safety precautions before you do such an act. I'm I wouldn't do it because I'm a disabled veteran whose body's broken already. So bad idea for me. But you're a young guy. You have people who can watch you and walk you through it, then do it. But take every precaution necessary.
Yeah, we'd love it. If you end up doing it, maybe as long as you don't get hurt again, maybe we'll show it on next week's episode. Just let us know if you end up doing it, I guess. But again, do it safely.
As safe as possible.
Yeah, we don't want anybody getting hurt. And Becca, again, I just saw the comment. I'm not going to put it up on the screen because actually I'll put it up on the screen. Thank you for not saying a word about famous singers. See, this gets us to think about it then, though. I will say that. So, yeah, we won't talk about it, but that is just a funny comment I happen to see.
Come on, Becca, shake it off.
Will we promise, Becca, we won't for the rest of the show? We'll try our best not to.
Now me and Becca have bad blood.
She can't. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Becca. And yeah, also Jacob, Roy, I love you, Roy. You're in here all the time. Jacob, don't do this. Don't start your table on fire before doing it.
No, don't
do
that.
I've seen it like go way awry. So that one thing, Roy, I know you're just kidding. Another very good, funny comment, but yeah, don't actually do that. I just want to say that.
We don't need a Mick Foley incident. Jesus Christ.
No, we don't. But all right. We kind of already dipped into the defensive, what they have to do, right? They have to minimize Kelsey. They got to make sure the run game is stopped and just force turnovers. I think that's pretty simple. I mean, for me, at least, that's what they have to do defensively. Do you have anything defensively, what you think the Bills need to do to slow down KC this game?
They need to take away Kelsey. He's not playing great this year, but he's playing well enough. They're still winning games, and he's still the focal point of that. Kelsey and Rashee Rice are the big targets, in my opinion, there. Still got to watch out for the run because Clyde Edwards-Helaire has burnt us before, but he's not been the same guy since. So just follow your reads, get to your spots, and do what you're supposed to do. Do you want 11th on defense? No one on the defense right now is a superstar. They just aren't, other than Terrell Bernard, maybe, and Leonard Floyd. Outside of those two guys, don't do anything stupid. Do your job, beat your man, go home with a W. That's it.
Yeah. I think, that's the big thing is they have to be disciplined. You cannot give Mahomes free yards. You cannot give this offense free points at all. You need to be disciplined. And again, we talked about it earlier in the show with penalties. They just need to be just disciplined. And Roy brings up a good one. They'll have to also keep an eye on Mahomes. I don't know if you'd want to spy necessarily. I think that could be a little bit risky, maybe here and there, but definitely. Yeah, you could just have somebody keeping an eye on him at all times. I agree with that. I don't know if you necessarily have like a set spy or like that's his only job. But yeah, I mean, we've seen Mahomes kill us with his legs before. So yeah, that defensively, it's always a tough matchup when you're facing Patrick Mahomes. I think this year you have to worry less about the big plays than you may have once had to. It's going to be, I think, a lot more short, get the ball out, let these guys get the ball in their hands because they've had trouble with drops for KC. So I think it's going to be, you might see a little bit different. You might see them lean on the run game a little bit more than usual as well. With the Bills have been good against the run, but they've also given up plenty of big plays against the run. It seems like every game that they're doing well against the run, that they just happen to give up 2 or 3 really big runs, and that's what makes it look worse than it actually was. I think, defensively, minimize Kelsey, minimize even just Rashee Rice, just the main two, minimize them, make sure you're keeping a close eye on Mahomes, stay disciplined. But that brings to our next topic. Our next topic is how high do you rank Josh Allen and Patrick? I think you're also laughing at the same exact thing. Appreciate you, Sam. We appreciate you. I don't know if that's what you're laughing at, but that's at least what
that sure is what I'm laughing at.
Yeah, hey, Sam, we appreciate you. Sam, love you. Don't have to listen, man. That's all right. But back to the topic at hand. Okay. How high do you rank Allen Mahomes? Before you answer that question, though, I want to bring up some stats about this rivalry between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Let's do it.
They are both 1 and 2 in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes is 1, Josh Allen's 2 in touchdowns per game. Patrick Mahomes at 2.5 per game. Josh Allen's at 2.4. This is all these stats, by the way, I'm getting from US or CBS. Douglas Clawson wrote a phenomenal article. Go check it out. It is titled Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, 5 reasons why this QB rivalry is the best since Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Great article, but just a few of the stats from him. That's 1. 2, over the past 4 years, they've been the 2 best quarterbacks. They both are top 2 in QB wins. Combined touchdowns for rushing and passing, top 2 again, and even passing yards and rushing touchdowns, they're top 2. So they are the 2 best statistical quarterbacks since then, even including wins. They're top 2 in wins as well. So they've just been overall the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, at least on the 2 best teams over the past 4 years. And the other thing, which this one blew my mind, is they put up big numbers when they play each other, right? We've seen it before. We've seen these high-scoring games. There's been 2 other duos in their first 5 matchups that have put up more combined yards. That was Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees versus Matthew Stafford, and they're both within 100 yards of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So, man, they know how to put up points. They know how to put up points. We've seen it in the playoffs. We've seen it plenty of times. They've faced off a number of times, 6 times, I believe, in the past 4 years. So, yeah, it's a great rivalry. Then there's the case of Mahomes and Burrow, which the one thing I will say, which is also said in this article, which is a great point, which I didn't think about, is Mahomes and Allen have played more. So that to me, that's what brings a rivalry more, is if you play more. So Mahomes and Allen playing each other that much compared to Burrow and Mahomes, I would gonna side there. So what are your thoughts on just this rivalry being, top in the league, top since Mahomes or since Brady and Manning? What are your thoughts there?
It's tops in the league right now, honestly. Not only has Burrow not played enough games with Mahomes, but he's also been injured 2 of his 4 years in the NFL. That's tough. And I hate to say that and for that to be the case for Joe Burrow, because it's a great quarterback. He's a good player. He seems like a really good guy, even though he looks like the Marquis from John Wick 4. But like, guy can't catch a break. But yeah, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, that game is must-see TV every time they play. Don't care who's on the field with them. Doesn't matter. They light it up together. And shout out to Drew Brees for him being in the first and second. It's not Peyton Manning. It's not John Elway. It's not Dan Marino, Jim Kelly. No. And there's been some great quarterback rivalries. Drew Brees is in 2 of those. Yeah. With Stafford and Rodgers.
Yep.
The greatness of Drew Brees is really slept on. And so love that guy. But yeah, I'd say it's the biggest one. I'd say the next biggest one, and we talked about this before the show. We mentioned it because we went over the timeline of the show. Is probably Prescott and Hurts.
Yeah,
that one's growing because they're divisional. So
yeah, and again, I don't even you could say Tua and Allen, but again, that's been one-sided at least over the years. You could say, I don't even know if you can say any other ones that are really up there besides Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, and
Burrow, Lamar, maybe.
Burrow, Lamar would be up there, yeah, because they're our division as well. There's a lot of good rivalries in this league. You'll see them all over, but I do think when you see Josh Allen on one, Patrick Mahomes on the other, a lot of people just stop and say that I need to watch this game. Like, it's a must-see TV because most of these games are phenomenal games, close games. So, yeah, I think they're the number one rivalry in the league. Maybe
outside of divisions, yeah.
Yeah, outside of division, maybe 3-4 years from now that changes. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, right now I'd put them at the top. I think a lot of people would as well. But before we get into predictions, which I know everybody loves to hear predictions, we might have some shocking ones this week. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the rest of the schedule because this starts the biggest 5, like you said, biggest 5-game stretch of the season. Every year they have these stretches that they need to go on, that they need to win. So it starts with KC. Then next week, we got the Dallas Cowboys coming to town. Then we got at 8 o'clock on Saturday, the 23rd, so before Christmas, a little bit before Christmas. Hopefully the Bills can get a dub there against the Chargers. And they welcome the Patriots to Buffalo. Hopefully it's a significantly better outcome than last game. And then they finish it off with the Dolphins for who knows what that game could mean. Right now it's looking like, yeah, Dolphins will have the division by then. who knows? A lot can happen. The Dolphins have had division leads before, right? They've blown them before. It can happen. We'll see. But these are the 5 games that are coming up here. What are your thoughts on these games? And then if you do have a schedule or a prediction of the record between those 5 games, you can go ahead.
I'm on the Bills win out train.
Yeah.
Every game that we play is winnable. The Cowboys haven't really beaten anybody who's a winning team. Dolphins haven't, and we've beaten the Cowboys and the Dolphins the last few times we played them. The Dolphins, we beat them 9 out of 10, and the Cowboys, we've beaten on Thanksgiving, and we smoked them a few years ago. So I'm not really that concerned with it. I know that they're different teams than they were when we played them last. Not the Dolphins, really, but the Chargers, they're kind of doing this whole thing. I hope they don't fire their coach right before we play them because, teams tend to have a little upswing, like we got our coach fired. We got to do better. And, is what it is. With the Chiefs, Chargers, Cowboys, Dolphins, I'm missing one.
Patriots.
I'm not concerning myself with the Patriots. Maybe we overlooked them. Maybe we're just in that down slope where Dorsey was just calling terrible games. Maybe I don't know, but I'm on the we win the rest of our games, and I'm still on the Dolphins. Have not beat a team worth their weight in salt. So they got the Ravens, they got the Cowboys, and then they got the Bills, and so I still got us potentially winning this division, if not one game out from the division win, and if they go 12 and 5, and we go 11 and 6, I'm okay with it as long as we make the playoffs.
Yeah. Playoffs at this point. At this point, it's just about the playoffs, right? It's just finding a way in. 10 wins might not get you in. However, that I think out of these 5 games, they're gonna drop one of them.
Hopefully the Cowboys won.
Hopefully the Cowboys won. I have a feeling that my guess is it's either going to be Kansas City or the Chargers. I think it's going to be one of these 2 games. I think Chargers, even though the Chargers have struggled, it just is one of the teams that I could very well see putting up 40 points on the Bills and outscoring them in a shootout. I could just see it. And again, the Bills happen to lose games to teams that they shouldn't. It's been a time and time again. So I think out of every game outside the Chiefs game, I think out of the last 4, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins, I would say the Chargers game, especially because it's right before Christmas, and we know that trap game, and we can't have good things constantly going into Christmas. So no. But I just think, out of all those games, it's a night game. Chargers, Herbert is a phenomenal quarterback. I think he can will them to victory. And it's 2 coaches who have struggled with time management, clock management, just game management. And I think it could be one of those games that, even though Brandon Staley is horrendous as a coach, and I can say that with quite a lot of confidence, considering I think every Chargers fan on earth would say the same thing. I think that they'll end up getting a victory somehow. It's a team that we should win, but I think that out of all the games, if it's not the Chiefs game, I think it would be the Chargers. And I see AJ. I knew AJ was going to say something about it. AJ's in here going Chargers. Look, we lost to the Patriots this year, AJ. I would not be shocked if we lose any of these games. Do I expect us to lose against the Patriots, like Dolphins, Cowboys? No, but I think out of all these games, if it's not the Chiefs, it's going to be the Chargers that knock us off. If they do lose to the Chiefs, I think they end up going out and winning the last 4. But I think one of these games they end up dropping. We'll see, which game it is. My prediction might say otherwise than thinking the Chargers would be the one that we drop. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I think out of all the games, they end up dropping at least one of these 5. So we'll see. And Roy, we got another one. We've saved the same. This is a great comment. Roy's almost 60. He's seen a lot of Buffalo Bills football, but this is one of the more confusing seasons he's ever seen. I'm 23 years old. This has been the most confusing season I've ever seen. So I don't know about you, Izzy. It's been one of the most confusing for me. And then AJ, I'm going to bring your comment back up here. It goes Chiefs, Cowboys, Dolphins, Chargers, Patriots for you. Look, in terms of difficulty, yes, I agree.
I'd flip Cowboys, Chiefs.
I'm back and forth on that. I could see Chiefs. I could see Cowboys. I agree with the terms of difficulty, but just in terms of seeing how the Bills play certain teams and seeing how the Bills play in general over the past over my whole entire lifetime, I could see the Chargers being the game that they end up dropping in like a high shootout game. That's just my only reasoning for it. I think they're a better team than the Chargers, but I could see them losing to that Chargers. So I do agree with the terms of difficulty. Cowboys, Chiefs could be argued. I could see either way. But yeah, we'll see about those last 5 games. I just want to go over those quick. We'll probably go over those weekly, just the rest of the schedule as we go on. But now it's time for our predictions and hot takes. I know everybody loves to hear the hot takes. Even though I think we've gotten 2 right this whole season, 2 or 3 right this season when it comes to hot takes. But again, they're hot takes. They're not supposed to happen. So yeah, before we get into hot takes though, what is your prediction on this game? Who wins? What's the score if you have one?
I do have a prediction. I've said it. I don't know if you saw it, but I did say it a couple times. I think I got the Bills winning 34-21.
34-21. That's a solid one. I think it'll be a 1-score game. However, I do have the Chiefs 28-26. So 28-26, close game. I think
score.
My prediction is, and again, this is just a prediction. It'd be crazy if this happens. 28-26. Bills have 20. It's 28-20. Let's just say it's Bills 28-20. They're losing. They score. They don't get the 2. That's how we lose. That'd be a very Buffalo way of losing, in my opinion. So I could see that happening. We got AJ also got the Chiefs here going. If you guys have any or predictions, by the way, put them in there. We'll pop them up here. AJ up here, though, he's got 30-27 Chiefs. I think either way, it's going to be a close game. I don't think it will be a blowout. I think both these teams have been close games all year. So I'm going 28-26 Chiefs. We'll see them as they come in through the comments there. But that's my prediction. I'll go one of my hot takes right now.
Maybe my prediction was a hot take.
Maybe the Bills winning was a hot take, so you could definitely count it. But
no, 34-21 the score.
Roy's got a great one.
Freaking Roy.
31-31.
You did that last week, Roy. It didn't work.
Roy, I'll let you know this. If I watch a whole game and I sit down and watch this whole game and it ends in a 31-31 tie, I might need like a week or 2 off. Like that the bye week came at the wrong time if we end up in a tie. So I think a lot of fans will be distraught. Got 28-21 Bills. So 1-score game within 7, like that's the narrative I think right now is just a close game. And I think that's a very, very good take because these teams have not really blown people out that much this year. The Bills, yes, they've blown people out. They blew out the Dolphins. They blew out, but recently they haven't been blowing teams out. We all know that. So I don't think it will be a blowout for either side. My only reason being the Bills losing a close game is because they're 2-6 on the year in 1-score games. That worries me a little bit. So I'm going to go with Chiefs in a close one. My first hot take, however, before I go, I'm going to piggyback. AJ had his hot take, and it kind of piggybacking off his. He has a receiving and rushing touchdown for James Cook. Mine happens to be that he gets 150 all-purpose yards. I just think that they're going to use him heavy. One in the run game, I think he'll get close to 15, at least 15 carries. And then in the air, I think he gets 5-6 catches. 150 all-purpose. I don't know if he scores. That'd be crazy if he puts up 150 and scores. That'd be a phenomenal game. So, yeah, that's my first one. What is your first hot take? And I know that we got Roy out here again saying that one of these weeks he's going to be right. So yeah, we'll see. But what's your hot take?
Both Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a very, very good one. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use those 2 tight ends. I think that's one thing a lot of people are interested to see how Joe Brady does because Joe Brady likes to really stretch the field. He's not a huge 12 personnel guy. He loves to have empty, 5 wide, put them all out there. But again, this offense, at least Brandon Beane's eyes, has been, we got 2 tight ends now. Let's use them. They've been trying to get it for years. Now they got them. So we'll see. I think they end up do end up using them a lot. I like that one a lot as well. And then we got another prediction here. Oh, I'm putting the wrong one. We got 47-17 Bills. Whoa. 40. Look, I love some of your guys' confidence, but I don't have that much confidence in this team yet. They need to put it together for 2 or 3 more games for me to really have that much confidence in them, especially with how the Chiefs defense is played. So I like it. I love the confidence, Oliver. I absolutely love it. So, but I'm going to go a little bit closer there, but 45-17. Got Roy here with a hot take, 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns for Dalton Kincaid. I could very, very well see that one as well. Kind of piggybacking off of yours there, Izzy, is getting the tight ends involved. Got to get them involved. Kincaid, if he outperforms Travis Kelce in Travis Kelce's own stadium, then maybe we will see. I think I saw a comment up here about Taylor Swift crying or something. Somebody crying.
That was the comment you pulled up. 45-17, powered by the
tears. Oh, yeah. Powered by the. So there we go. If Kincaid gets 102 touchdowns, I think we will see Swifties crying about a better tight end on the football field named Dalton Kincaid. But all right. I got you got one more or two more hot takes?
I have. It depends how many you got.
I got one left because I did my second one, but if you want to do both yours, go ahead. Or however many.
I have 3 sacks of Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Right. I have Epinesa with 1 and Floyd with 2.
Oh, keeping the hot guys going, getting them up.
And then I have 3 turnovers by the Chiefs, 2 interceptions and a fumble. And I have Terrell Bernard taking one of those back.
Okay. I love that. I think they'll get to Mahomes as well. Actually, now that I think about it, now that I'm looking at it, I didn't do my first one. My first one was Mahomes gets picked off twice. So that kind of piggybacks off yours. I do think they get to him a little bit. They get some pressure in his face. That they'll make him force the ball sometimes, because I think that these cornerbacks have good matchups for this week. And then my other one is kind of a more funny one, not really super serious. I think the Bills have under 10 penalties, just because we've seen how penalties have gone the past few weeks. I think the Bills get under 10, which I guess is a hot take nowadays, because the Buffalo Bills have struggled to not get penalized. So yeah, that's my last hot take, is the Bills have under 10 penalties. Let us know what you guys is your favorite one, or just which one you think is most likely to happen out of the ones that we've said. I'll pull up another cut too. We got Jacob here with 42-38 Bills win, 14 seconds into overtime. If they go to overtime, I personally, every time the Bills go to overtime, don't have too much confidence. If they win in 14 seconds, love it. That would be hilarious.
I mean, the kick return touchdown, probably.
It would also be hilarious because it's like they had 13 seconds. Now we have 14 seconds. So wouldn't be in the playoffs, but it'd be great. And then Roy, I don't know if this is a hot take, but this is just hilarious. So I'm going to put it up here. Kincaid leaves with Swift.
Hey, man, because if this ends her and Travis, she's got a blank space, baby.
If this happens, Roy, you're coming on the show, and we're just going to have you just host the show next week if this happens. So that's an awesome one. I absolutely love that. So yeah, and I've seen some comments about the refs as well. Refs, yes, they need to be on their game. We do have 2 questions before we hop off here, though. That one was from Jacob that we actually did answer here a little bit. We answered Mahomes. Both of us answered Mahomes. We both think 2 picks. How many do you think Allen's got? I'm going to go with 1. Just per usual. But how many do you think Allen gets this week?
This is another hot take. I think he has none.
It's tough that it is a hot take, but that's how Josh Allen plays. He plays to be.
The streak must end sometime.
It's got to end sometime, and it'd be great for a time against the Chiefs, especially if Mahomes has 2 and Allen has 0. That'd be phenomenal. So yeah, there's our Jacob. I know that's the question I was talking about earlier about waiting on, because I knew we both had it in our hot takes. And then from James, we got James here. So James is Fournette going to get called up? I believe they already had to have called him up, correct? It was 4:00 today. They would have had to call him up, or is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, I believe. It's
tomorrow. Okay.
So tomorrow, I think it's 4 hours before the game.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. 4 hours before the game. So I think, I don't think he does. I don't.
Who do you take off the field for him? Like, you take Ty Johnson off? He's been playing good. Yeah. James Cook? No, he's your starter. Latavius Murray? He's been playing good.
Even if he does get called up, I don't think maybe sees the field once or twice. I wouldn't see him seeing the field a lot, even if he does get called up. But yeah,
I don't know who's fit for him.
Yeah, but, especially with how the run game's been.
Shout out to my man Jacob for his channel, Spear Bills Talk. That's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that right at the end there. Sorry, Jacob, I didn't acknowledge it earlier. I saw your comments just going through all of them. But yeah, I saw the name here before. Where's the name?
Bills Talk.
Bills Talk. Yeah, on YouTube. Go talk Bills Talk.
Spears Bills Talk.
Spears Bills Talk. All right, yeah. So right there, Spears. There's how you spell Spears. If anybody needs to know how to spell Spears, but Spears Bills Talk. Go get a little look-see, give it a like there. And then we got Roy with one last question before we hop off here. I saw it just come in here quick. Who gets cut if they put Knox on the 53?
Already happened.
It was
AJ Klein.
Yes, AJ Klein got cut. So AJ Klein got cut. Knox is back on, and then Sandra. The name of his show was Spears Bills Talk. SPEAR for Spear, Spears, and then Bills Talk. So yeah, go check it out. But
it's a good kid.
Great. Yes, but that is it. Going to do it for us though. Phenomenal show for everybody. I thought besides we get who what was his name in here? That was I gotta find the comment again. Who had the greatest comment of all time I've seen.
This is the one that made me take a lap.
Yeah, Sam had the greatest comment of all time with saying that we suck.
No, not that one. That was the one I took a lap on.
Oh yeah, that was the one. That one though. That was quite possibly the greatest.
Refs ready to play or whatever it was. That wow.
Yeah. It's been this was a real fun one. I want to say I appreciate all you guys in the comments. We everybody here at Built in Buffalo appreciates all you guys. I'm obviously not wearing any Bills gear. I'm wearing Sabres. I'll double check the score for anybody.
Hey, go Buffalo either way, man. Let's go.
Go Buffalo. Sabres. Do we think they're winning? Take a guess. As it's. What do you think? Do you think they're winning? No, they're not. They're not. They're down 2-0 to one of the worst teams in the NHL. So that's how it usually is. But
all right,
Buffalo
Sabres.
What we always say, what I always say, at least me and all my friends always say, is there can't be two good things in a row for Buffalo. So if the Sabres lose, that's a good sign for the Bills. That's a good sign because you can't have two Buffalo wins in the same weekend. It's a rarity if it does happen, but you can't have two good things in a row in Buffalo. So if the Sabres lose,
well, then I need the Sabres to suck from now on. Sorry. Hey, fans, I'm sorry.
They already have been, so that's that. But all right,
I'm a football guy. I try and cheer the Sabres when I can, but
I get
Bills or Sabres. Give me the Bills, baby.
Yeah, go Bills as always. So yeah, that will do it for us though. Izzy, you got any last words before we hop off here?
No real last words other than go Bills. Have some faith in the team, guys. The season is not over, right? I'm not. You know what? The hell with it. Trust the process because the process has been we go out on winning streaks every year the last 3-4 years, and that's what it's taken for us to make the playoffs. And I have faith that they'll do it again, whether it's winning the division at the end against the Dolphins, or if it's just us making the playoff with a wild card. And here's the thing about that: what team that wins their division wants to see the Bills on wild card weekend?
And not many.
Who wants to see the Bills on wild card weekend? I don't know these guys. All of a sudden, the Bills are back in the playoffs. Without what the? Yeah. Good luck, guys.
They're a scary team. They're a scary team. We'll see you guys next week, though. Should be 7, maybe 8 o'clock again. Probably we'll be back at 7 o'clock next week. But again, you guys in the comments were unbelievable today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go spread some love for me, whether it's today, tomorrow, this week. Spread some love this week. It's been a rough couple months for the Buffalo Bills fans, for Bills Mafia. So go spread some love. And as always, go Bills. Go Built in Buffalo. Check out everybody's down below. Everybody have a great night, great rest of your night, and go Bills. And hopefully they can get a dub tomorrow.